Duck Goose. This movie follows a goose named Ping, a fastest goose from his flock, who has an attitude to match, and two young ducklings who get separated from their flock named Ping and Chow. So in this movie, Ping, like I said, he has this attitude, superiority complex, and he's the fastest flyer, and that's why he has this complex. And he decides to separate from his flock because they fly too slow, and he wants to show them up by flying south faster than them in the winter by staying behind one day and then proving that he's faster. Before he does that, he accidentally knocks Chow and Chi away from their flock so they get lost. And when he's about to take off to try to beat his flock, he accidentally breaks his arm. So he decides that he's gonna walk to where his flock is, and he's gonna take the two little ducks as a way to fend off predators. Pretty much, he thinks if he's faster than the ducks, then the predators will eat them instead of him, since he can no longer fly. So that's pretty much the premise of the movie. They're trying to get from, it's a road trip movie, they're trying to get from point A to point B, and there's a bunch of obstacles in their way. They're being chased by a cat with a split personality. And I have to say, I did not enjoy this movie. I don't like being negative. I usually try to be positive, even if I don't like something particularly, or if it's pretty bad. I've seen a lot of bad things, bad shows and stuff in my life, so I don't really judge things that I think are just mediocre too badly. But this is a little below mediocre. To me, this movie was just boring, which is the worst thing any kind of entertainment can be. It could be, I'd rather this movie be badly animated but very entertaining, but it's just not. The movie is well animated, the CG looks good, the characters are all well made, they have some good scenery throughout the movie, but it's just a boring movie overall. A lot of the obstacles they face aren't very interesting or exciting. Like one is they stop, in a chicken barn because it's raining. One they stopped because Chow, he was very hungry, so they had to find him food. There's a few things like that are very boring, and a lot of them, some of them are a little bit better, but not so much. Another problem I have with this movie, that the main characters are pretty unlikable and don't really have good personalities. Peng is one of those jerk characters that you don't like. Like I said, he accidentally separates Chow and Chi from their flock, and then he decides to use them as baits. And then as they go along in the journey, even though he brought them so he can, use them to throw at predators so he can get away, he decides he wants to get away from them for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, why did you bring him? It doesn't make any sense. So he's a very unlikable character, and he's one of those tropes of the very cold, not caring character who's like, I'm not part of a group, what do I care? And he slowly turns around as the journey goes, and by the end of the movie, he loves these two ducklings, even though he hated them, and he's a group person now all of a sudden, which is very predictable and kind of very still, and they don't even do a good job of making it exciting or interesting compared to other movies. And Chow and Chi barely have any personalities. I did like Chi. She's voiced by Zendaya. She's this smart, intelligent character for the most part, and I did like her character. She barely has much of a personality. She's like the older sister character, that's her personality. And Chow's kind of the dumb child character who's fat and likes to eat, essentially. Those are their personalities. Like I said, the main villain of this movie, I guess you could say, is the cat who has split personality. He's chasing them because Ping beat him up in the beginning of the movie, and since he broke his wing, he thinks he can get his revenge since he can't fly away. He's a somewhat interesting character. It's one of those things where he's following them and they don't really know it, because every time he tries to attack him, something stops him, until pretty much almost the end of the movie. Other than that, there's a few other characters, but they're not very interesting and they don't really add much to the movie. They're pretty much nobodies. Like I said, this movie's just kind of boring overall. The CG is the only thing I really like. Zendaya was a good voice actor. The other voice actors were okay to bad, so not the greatest voice acting. Just a very disappointing movie, I guess you can say. It's on Netflix, so you can go watch it for free. That's one of the One of the benefits of this movie, I guess you can say, I didn't pay money to watch it, which I would have been very, very angry, I guess you could say, if I paid money to watch this movie, because it's just not that good. This is a collaboration between America and China, and it definitely shows. A lot of the characters, in fact, I think all the characters have Chinese names. It takes place in China. The human characters all speak Chinese. Besides the animals, they actually speak English. And it adds for some good scenery. Like I said, there's very interesting things where they go to the Chinese human city. I like that. But it doesn't do enough to make this movie good or decent. So I give this movie a 4 out of 10. Which I want to honestly give it a lot lower. It probably deserves a 2 or 3 in all honesty, because I was very, very bored through this movie. Like throughout it I was just like, man, I need to check my phone. Man, I want to check my phone. Man, I should go do laundry. Which tells you a lot. Maybe some other people will enjoy it, but for me personally, it wasn't interesting. It was boring, predictable. I just didn't care for these characters or anything, and that was my biggest flaw with it. It's just boring. So if you watched the movie, what did you think? Which I don't recommend anyone going and watching it, but it's free. So if you have free time and you love animation, check it out, I guess. But what'd you think of it if you did see it? If you haven't seen it, like I said, I don't really recommend you going to see it. So it's not that good. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out. Hey, if you like this video, we have several other awesome videos you can check out. And again, thanks for watching.